What's up? Can you guys hear me? I'm just trying to get started here. Trying to make sure I get the stream set up. Check on my own YouTube on my phone and see if it's live. Still new to this, so still figuring out how it works. All right. I see myself on the YouTube. And let's check and see if it's working in X, aka the Twitter. All right, I see that. I think I'm live. What's going on? Now, how do I tell if there's actually people in here? I don't really know. But nonetheless, not going to change what I do. I am working on my content command center, and I'm working with Grok right now. And I've had a giant mess for the last. Hey, what's up, guard your ears? How you doing? Yeah, I've had a giant mess for the last probably 10 days, really trying to get the functionality to create graphics on my YouTube videos. So this is where I'm at now. I've still got my transcript edit tool is awesome. I've got to put out another YouTube video and show you all the improvements that have been made there. It is awesome. But I've been down several rabbit holes with ChatGPT. This was one of my rabbit holes that ended up, I'm not even showing my screen. What a bonehead. What a bonehead. All right, there we go. So this is something that I've been working on with ChatGPT to basically be able to like overlay graphics and edit them and stuff. And we got fairly far on this, but it wasn't, just wasn't kind of getting there how I wanted. It was still taking 4 or 5 hours to do all the graphic treatment on a video, which is just not, not going to work, not going to scale. So then we ended up in this other rabbit hole with, again, with Codex, and then I had brought Claude in to try to work it, and this ended up being a complete disaster. So now I've got Grok working on this, and this is where we've at. So we've taken a step back and tried to put some object-oriented principles on it, some actual engineering principle on this. I had just kind of too much faith in the AI and just given it a little bit too much autonomy. And so now I'm kind of bringing that back a little bit and getting myself more involved in the situation and trying to unravel it. So this is my graphics library. What this is meant to do is to define when a graphic can be used. So for example, I've got this, graphic where we're showing like a letter grade improving. That'll determine which beat types it's allowed to be used on, and then what layouts it's allowed to be used on. It's pretty crazy. Guard your ears. Are you in my school group? Do I know you? Have we interacted before? And then this visual package. So I built something in here. I call it Master Beater. And its job is to go through the transcript and figure out what the beats are inside each video. So we've got hooks, we've got context proof, CTAs, examples. And then based on these beats, when it's found, we will have something later that figures out which graphic can be used for a particular beat. And then we've got this whole kind of, production process that we can work out. So that's where we're at. I'm in deep in trying to refactor all this stuff with Grok. I've been doing some pretty hardcore engineering this morning, and I think we've got, to a design that makes a lot more sense. ChatGPT Codex had just built a giant freaking bird's nest spaghetti bowl of intertwined logic and just very poor design. So trying to unwind all that and get to something that's good. So now I've got to look at this response from Grok. So give me a second to read. Okay, so I see it. Okay. Yeah, so Grok's been doing a giant refactoring of the code. A lot of phases. Okay, so the architecture is approved. That's built. The seed kit quarantined. I want to get that deleted. My private library is still there. Running API. Restarted the API. Open save the graphics number. Cosmetic leftovers. Seed kit files. Telling it I want to delete all the seed kit stuff. Yeah, so I had at one point, because I'm using HyperFrames on this, and I discovered that HyperFrames has embedded recipes inside their skills that you can use kind of off the shelf. And so I had Codex basically render an example of each one of those, and then it called those seeds. And then somehow we ended up with seeds versus modules and just this whole intertwined like bird's nest of stuff that I'm just trying to get cleared out. So the goal is to have a graphics library. There is an engine, and that engine is in charge of rendering a graphic, right? So it takes in the parameters that it needs to be able to draw that specific graphic. That's an engine. That's kind of behind the scenes. We'll never really see it. It's all code. And then from a front end perspective, we have what is called a usage contract. And so that's defined here in this graphics library. And so that's where we say what the graphic is, whether it's something that I'm still working on, or golden means that it's ready for prime time, ready to use, which beats that it should be used on, which screen types that it should be used on, because I've got different layouts that I use. And then we've got a sample and a poster, and then some of this stuff still needs to be cleaned up down here. But yeah, so that's the usage. And then from that, then we will start to define the placement, the assessment, all the other things that take this abstract chunk of graphics and start applying those to actual videos. So it's been very fun. I didn't really know much about making videos prior to this. I knew that I wanted to make YouTube videos, and it was a massive learning exercise. Yeah, sorry, I got some kind of weird thing in the cable on this microphone. Every once in a while when I bump it, it like disconnects the microphone. And I haven't really spent enough time to debug it to figure out whether I got a bad mic with like a bad USB connection on the mic, or if it's just a crappy cable that has a short in it. I'm not really sure how long I was muted there. Sorry about that. Yeah, still just trying to clean up this concept of seeds. Okay. Graphics library only. I don't know what that means. Add numbers here so that Grok knows which question I am replying to. So 1, 2, question 3. Sounds good. It's still working. You guys working on any projects yourself? What do you guys got on your plate? What are you trying to build with? What tools do you use? Trying to live stream this is kind of interesting because I have to go from like being quiet and reading and concentrating, which is probably not super entertaining for you guys to watch, to waiting on the AI to do stuff where I can talk and interact with you. So still trying to figure out how to make that, actually entertaining for everybody. Grok and Higgsfield. Okay, so you're doing some video stuff. I haven't really played around with Higgsfield. I've so far just gone down the HyperFrames rabbit hole. I've used Grok Imagine to make some video clips, and then I've also used the Gemini video engine to try to make some video clips, and those are pretty cool. It's amazing what you can do. I had somebody in my school group last night show us a project that he had worked on to create this animation that was incredible, man. It was just like a real anime or manga or something. It was amazing. Creator, production. Okay, so now I got to read. I'll be boring for you guys. Okay. Okay, I disagree with this. I think Okay, so this is part of the bird's nest that I'm still unwinding. So we've got the thing where we split my script into the different beats, but now we get into the hard part of how we decide which graphic gets assigned to a particular beats. And so that's where I've got a giant bird's nest to unwind, because Codex just made all these intertwined skills that contradict each other, and it's just kind of a mess. So now I'm trying to like think through what are the actual tasks, and I try to design my agents so that each agent has one and only one task. I think there's a lot of information out there on YouTube that just makes it seem like you create these giant agents that do all these things, and that's really the wrong way to do it. It's just going to create problems. Like, an agent should have one very clear thing that it focuses on, and then if you need something else, that's a different agent. So yes, okay, so then graphics library only, what does it draw? It's a channel profile selection flag. Okay, so okay, and then number 3, what is it telling me? We're good on that. Okay, let's pop that back in. Let him cook. That's right, dude. We are cooking like crazy. Have you made anything with Higgsfield? Anything that you've published? Graphics library. Per channel selection policy, useful for multi-channel. All right, I still don't understand what the heck it's talking about. Okay. Yeah, we're still talking about this particular variable. I said I need you to be very clear on the purpose of this, whether it actually drives anything or if it's just leftover Codex garbage. Definitely a big engineering challenge to try to sort this stuff out after the fact. Been really trying to push Grok Build to his... Okay, graphics library only is a real code in the creator production planning stack. It does not drive your approved daily path. It's effectively leftover pipeline plumbing. Okay. Stated purpose, channel profile. Okay. Yeah, I think that it's mixing up stuff. But Interesting. Keep golden status in production as authority. I'm all right, so it's bringing up these things that are connected still to the codex thing. I think that it's just bringing back in some of this confusing language from codex and kind of munging up the process. So it's one of the challenges I get into when we're building agentic stuff, is we're talking in language, not talking in logic. So, all right, so we're removing it. Cool. So that's stripped down. Let's see how my usage is doing here. I've been, okay, 74% and resets on the 4th. I think I'm going to run out of Grok credits this week. That is definitely looking like the case. All right, Grok is back. Okay, that's removed. Density helper stuff is later. That's like a later on problem. Okay, let's go deal with some of these graphics in here. So numbered example card, it goes to an example beat, and it can only do talking right, talking bottom left, talking bottom right, or talking top right. Actually, I think I still have some cleanup to do here, yeah. This rating, notes, history entries. All right, let's do some more cleanup on the usage contract. Just double checking with Grok if we're done with the cleanup that it thought it was doing. Yeah, so that pass is done. The seed stuff, all that's gone good. The product language is there between engine usage and graphics library. That's there. The production set, that is a problem that I got to deal with later. Not finished. There's still legacy aliases. That's annoying, bro. Why is that still there? Front end type. Why is this stuff still left over? 3. Okay, the creator stuff is going to stay there for now. Fine, okay, doc titles. Either update or archive unused stuff. Scrub filters for VCG seed string. Yes, I don't want seed anywhere in this because it causes confusion. And we aren't using it, bro. All right, more cleanup. Still more cleanup. It's my life today on a Saturday. I'm basically a code janitor, cleaning up unnecessary crap. Only 2 people in the stream. Not very popular today, am I? What are you gonna do? What can you do? I don't think there's anyone in there from the Twitter. I think everyone in here is from YouTube. You guys are watching me on YouTube, right? Are you still there? You guys haven't interacted in the chat forever. Jump in the chat. Interact with me. Keep it exciting. Keep it exciting. My knee hurts. Getting old, you guys. Getting old. Not necessarily wiser, but definitely older. Yeah, Grok is still cleaning up. Going through lots of Python code, changing variable names, deleting unnecessary dumb things. And I think at some point I'll end up having Claude and ChatGPT Codex also do code reviews on all of this, just to make sure that everything is clean and crisp. But for now, I don't want to let them get involved because they're the ones that created the mess that I'm trying to clean up. So I don't really want their opinion right now. PowerShell is mangling my Python, is what Grok just said. Let me write a script instead. Are you guys still there? Can't even tell if the chat's working. I haven't had a message for a long time. I'm not sure if I'm just like an old man yelling into the wall here. Drop something in chat. Interact with me. Even if nothing, drop a yes and let me know that you can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Bueller. Should do the Ferris Bueller thing. Bueller. It says that I've got 6 people in here, but no one is typing anything in the chat. Can you guys actually hear me? It's weird to, who watches a live stream and doesn't chat? It's kind of odd to me. Let me open up my YouTube and make sure you guys can hear me. All right. I see myself on the YouTube. Oh, shoot. And let's check and see. Just said, let me write a script instead. All right, you can hear me. Let's go. Where'd you go, man? You've been quiet forever. You had me all afraid that nothing was working. I wanted to hear what you've been doing with Higgsfield, what you've been building with it. It's definitely a platform that's on my agenda to try to learn. AI hacks. I don't necessarily have any hacks. I just try to make good design and good software. All right, where are we at here? Let's see what Grok came back and said. While our legacy alias is still there, they're a bridge for stale API process. It's been removed. Good. Leftover front end golden record names. Okay, that's been renamed. Good. Creator production, it's a holdover. Okay, that's not connected. Good. Private folder name docs are archived. There is no seed. Good. Load. Yeah, that one's fine. Okay, that one is fine, I think. Been doing so much cleanup, I forgot what I wanted to actually accomplish. The struggle is real, you guys. Sounds good. Our cleanup is done now. What is our next phase from your perspective? So I think it's good to always check in with your AI and ask what it thinks that it's working on. Because where things get really mungled up is where you think you're working on something and it thinks it's working on something different, and you guys are working towards different goals. You'll hear me talk about that a lot on my channel, but going back and asking it what it thinks it's doing is a really good way to see if it's aligned with what you're trying to do. Clean is done. Yes, good. Next phase is working on my master beater, the assignment, the inputs. Not more architectural rename. Suggested next session is the assignment contract. I agree, but that's later on. Okay, I'm still working on cleaning some of the graphics library. And I think we still have unnecessary metadata. Like rating, notes, and history entries. I don't know what any of those are. The created, updated, that's fine. These ones, I know I need those for sure. So let's find out about those. So yeah, so this is the metadata that is supposed to describe a particular graphic. I think that that's not actually saving. Okay, so that's definitely a bug there. Our beat types aren't saving. Working on an app, need the know-how in detail. What kind of app are you building, bro? Do you have a background in software? Is it your first time working on it? Tell me more about your project. Tell me what you got on your plate. It's kind of nice having someone to interact with while I code because it gets boring sitting here and waiting on the AI to be done. The way I deal with that a lot is by multitasking. So a lot of times I'll be working on 2 projects at the same time. Or I will play Magic the Gathering while I'm waiting because I am a nerd. But I don't know if I can actually stream me playing Magic the Gathering on my YouTube channel. I have a feeling that would get me in trouble. And I'm not really interested in getting any like content strikes over something stupid like that. I don't know if it's a problem. I have a feeling that Wizards of the Coast is probably a pain in the neck about stuff like that. I have no idea. That's just kind of a hunch. What's up, Animal Chins? Wait, are you a skater? Are you a skater nerd? Because Animal Chins means a pretty specific thing to people that were around in the 80s. Bedtime at your place? Shoot, you must be in Europe or somewhere then, huh? Let's go, baby. The Legend of Animal Chin. Only the cool kids know about that one. Welcome to my channel. You're officially a cool kid. Join my school group. I definitely want more people that know about Animal Chin in there. Let me drop a link. Oh, yeah, join my school. We have cool meetings and we talk lots about coding and building interesting stuff. Okay, so those were shelf noise, rating, notes, history, those were dropped. Okay, okay, good. Okay, good. I found a bug. I'm not even typing in there. Found a bug in the where is this stupid? This window. I need to restart the server. It's been a while. Restart the server. Let's go back into here. Let's refresh that. Okay, cool. Let's go to our graphics library. Cool. It's numbered examples card. And it does not seem to be saving the beat types or the allowed layouts. Okay, so we've got 29 different graphics. These have all been created over the course of several weeks of me making YouTube videos because I had a very poorly designed process that was just recreating a lot of crap. So part of what I've been doing is redesigning the process and making it good. But now really kind of the next thing I need to do is cleaning up this library and making sure that the data on all this is all set correctly. So this example card, this was one that was created in my Grok for Excel video. And I really like it. I think it looks really nice. But as you can see, it doesn't work when my talking head is in there. I love that Grok was able to get this frozen on a frame where I look like an idiot. I think that that's funny. It's good to laugh at yourself, but this one should only really go on this type of screen where I'm down in kind of the bottom corner. So I have to be able to set here the allowed layouts where it's actually allowed to be used, but these buttons don't actually seem to be saving the things. So Grok is working on fixing that for me. At the North Pole. Wait. So you're like up in Sweden or somewhere? I'm trying to think where it's like nighttime right now. So nighttime in Sweden, that implies that you're up in Sweden, Finlandia, Norway, maybe Europe, or not Europe, but Russia, somewhere up there where it's like the frozen Arctic. Yeah, nice to meet you, man. I appreciate you joining the stream. Definitely, join the school group. It's free. The more the merrier. We've been having some really good calls, man. We had a really good call last night. Some people showed some really cool stuff. Just trying to get as many people as possible in there sharing knowledge. Okay, so the state CSS was broken. The clicks only updated the draft. Okay, so those are saved. Okay, so now this number example should only be on an example beat, and it's bottom left, talking bottom right. Talking right should be allowed. Computer screen only, sure. And talking top right. Not talking top left because that would be up here in the corner. And then full screen, you can see how it goes over my face. Okay. Is the save usage button needed? Don't think that I actually need this button down here. I think that that's a carryover from some earlier mess. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, let's do autosave. Yes, please. That's better. It's a better design, bro. I like calling my AIs bro. What's up, bro? So it is redoing that. Now, the next thing that we need to fix is I don't have the ability to force a re-render. So what I want is a new sample. So you can see the sample. If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, but I need to be able, because I've changed what scenes it's allowed in, I need to be able to create a new sample. And then this poster is like my one shot, but I need to be able to recreate that. Otherwise it looks dumb. And I didn't build that in yet. Okay. All right, notice we don't have a way to recreate a sample. I'm changing the settings on numbered example card, and the current sample is rendered in an invalid layout. I need to be able to generate a new sample using one of the valid layouts. Sorry about that burp. It happens. You guys got a burp just right into your ears there. That was pretty aggressive. It's also interesting. It's interesting that this numbered example card doesn't show up in its alphabetical location. So that makes me think that there is something broken in the ID situation or the sort. There's something that's been mungled up there too. We will find out. We are at the one problem at a time phase right now. Got 7 people in here. Let's go. What else you guys got going on your plate? Jump in the chat, man. Keep this stuff entertaining. Tell me about your projects. Tell me about what you're building. Roast me. We can get into a roast battle if you want. I don't mind talking shit. Ask questions if you're stuck on something, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. All right, so it's going to do something that's probably a somewhat large build here, which is our sample rendering. I know that the pipelines are there, it's just not all fully connected to each other. What's up, guys? Well, it's hard to be entertaining if you don't interact, especially when I'm just waiting on Grok. Unless you're just enjoying the matrix stream of the red and green lines as Grok makes coding changes. Giving me the ability to re-render samples in our graphics library. Well, that's working. We'll go back and look at our UI. I think that this UI is getting pretty solid. I don't know what these pills over here are. These seem kind of unnecessary. This is pretty solid. Pretty solid. Grok's still building. Still building, bro. right, Grok's finishing that one up. Re-render existed, but it was weak. I agree. On the player for each usage, sample layout drop down, re-render, resample, demo bed. I don't. Freaking demo bed. I thought we got rid of demo bed as a concept. All right, it's saying I need to restart the API, so let's restart the server in VS Code, npm run dev action. Got to think that that's the common, the command that is used the most. So we'll refresh, we'll go into our graphics library. And on here, okay. So talking bottom left, re-render sample. And did that actually do anything? Bad request. I can see a couple of other bad requests, some 404s. So I'm going to take this entire server log. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to pop it right back into Grok. I'm going to let Grok figure out that problem. You figure that out, bro. You figure that out for me. Come on, you guys, jump in the chat. At least type something. At least say a hi, hello, hey, what's up? Roast me if you want. I don't care. Just do something. Get some interaction going here. It's boring if we don't interact with each other. All right, it's trying to figure out the 400 error we got from trying to render a sample. All right, could not render the sample, doesn't match the visual. Okay, so it's a red herring. Yeah, why would it still have the speaker safety object, dude? Like that, you were supposed to clean that up. That is stuff that should have been cleaned up. Sloppy, bro. What is it doing? Not really sure what I'm supposed to do with your question there. I do appreciate that you're typing in chat. Appreciate that you're interacting with me, but not really sure what you're asking there. So if you would like to ask a useful question, I will respond to it. All right, so, okay, so it actually did make the sample. Interesting. Let's try another one. It's interesting that it moved the placement of this card. This was much farther over to the left originally. And I think that it still has a bug that it's not redrawing the poster. Cool. This first example, and this is pretty much the core use case for. Okay. Posters that. Okay, so we still got bugs. Yeah, I still don't understand this. Let's try another one. This one. Okay, so this one should only be talking right. It should never be talking left. And not computer screen only. This one, when do we want to use it? We will use this one as a list. All right, so I'm going to redraw the sample as talking right and see what that does. So yeah, now it's just dialing in these controls on this library to make sure that I can get all this actual data set up correctly. And then that'll feed into the later issues that I've got downstream of like trying to actually come up with the plans in the document. Okay, so it says that the current sample is that. If you have one of those soul crushing corporate jobs, but it's not. If you have one of those soul crushing corporate, same thing. All right, so we've got some flakiness here. Yeah, so we've got some cleanup here. So I see the sample. I'm not sure if it's actually taking the layout suggestion I'm giving it. I have a feeling we need to, I think we have to get a clip of each layout from some of my old videos so that it can actually draw a sample. Because I think that we only have two in here. I think we only have the full talking in bottom left. I don't think we have any of the other ones referenced in here for it to use. I did try drawing a numbered example as talking bottom right, but it's still showing talking bottom left. So see how it did make the sample, but I said sample bottom right, so it should be a screenshot that has my head over here in the bottom right. I think this is going to be a little bit of a dialing in process. All right, can we get some useful comments in the chat? Something useful? Questions, answers, concerns? Yeah, so layout only moved the graphic. The bed clip stayed the same. Composting the talking head into each layout's measured speaker reacts. So samples actually look like that OBS layout. Yeah, and I have a feeling that I'm going to need to go record clips for each of those to feed it in. I don't think I want to go down the path of asking the AI to go find examples of each layout. I think that I'm going to end up needing to create those. I'm sure that I probably could ask the AI to do it, but I just have a feeling that's going to create a lot of unnecessary problems. I need to compact, dude. I'm getting to 65% of my context window here. Next step is a slash compact. It's okay. These are those last mile things where we go from having a concept to actually having production software. There's just a lot of these things that we've got to tighten up and make useful. I still don't like that it has this bed thing in there. We specifically were supposed to get rid of that nomenclature. We will go back and find out what the problem is there. All right. Layout selection only changed where the graphics set. Interesting. The graphics shouldn't change based on that. Okay, so that's problematic. Yeah, so it's basically going to try to do something where it creates a version of the layout on its own, which I don't want to go down that path. I just think that it's going to be a lot cleaner for me to record a 10-second clip of each of the 8 layouts and just feed those in so that it has them. I just think that that's going to be a lot cleaner, a lot quicker. I'm still concerned you keep talking about bed. Thought we had that nomenclature. Okay, so yeah, we're getting some confusion going here. So the layout selection should not change where the graphics at. It's just changing the screen behind it for the sample. I do think that I need to make a clip for each of the 8 layouts. It keeps talking about this bed thing, which was something we stripped out before. And then the last thing, I also notice it's not making new poster. Yeah. So cleaning up this library is going to be a bit of a pain in the neck. You can see how Codex has created a lot of the same things. Just very similar treatments. This one sucks. I hate that one. That one's fine. Yeah, going through and actually making some useful graphics will be important. just a lot of messiness, a lot of like very vibe coded look. Do I like vibe coding? Dude, I love vibe coding. I'm all in on vibe coding. That's all I do all day, every day is vibe code. Do you not vibe code? Yeah, so a lot of these are ones that I don't want. This one I do want. I like this card. This is a nice looking card. Whoa, we got 10 people in here watching. Let's go. Jump in the chat, you guys. Let's turn this into a party. Otherwise, it's just weird. 10 people lurking around, not talking. Strange. So later on, when I'm not streaming, I'm going to need to record my sample clips. I don't think that I can do that at the same time that I'm streaming with you guys. But that's fine. We will just set those up and import those. But that doesn't prevent us from continuing to get the other parts of this actually working. Yeah, see, this is dumb. This is why I didn't want it drawing stuff. Like it's made this phantom image where I'm in both spots. I love how it manages to pick the frames where I've got the dumbest look on my face. I don't know whether I blame Grok for that or blame myself for having dumb looks. All right, layout must not move the graphic. Yeah, that's correct. Recorded layout clips. Yeah, I will do that later on. Bed nomenclature. No demo bed. Right, no more of that. It's stupid. Poster on regenerate. On force regenerate, we now delete the existing sample in poster. Re-extract poster after a new sample. Fail if the poster file still isn't written. And still cache bust with render at. Okay, so you should already have two of the sample clips. So it should have 2 of the 8. It should have already the full talking head one and the bottom left one. It should already have both of those. So it just needs the other 6 that I have to record. Dang, I'm at 88% of Grok. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over and get locked out. I'm going to end up using up all my Grok love. I need to compact. Let's do that now. So is it 71% of my context window? I wish it would just get some auto compact going inside Grok Build. I don't like having to manage that. So we already have 2 real source clips. Layout clips doesn't exist yet. What do you mean it doesn't exist? Why are you talking about it if it doesn't exist, bro? Okay, so I'm telling it to put those clips in our layout folder, which I thought that it would have done that already, but it didn't. Where the heck is our stupid window at? Here. So that's good. So it says missing clip. Good. So it should only... Okay, cool. So this drop down is populated with that. That's good. They're all showing up as missing. So what it should do after it moves those two over is it should show the bottom left one that we have as a selection. I should be able to re-render the sample and it should recreate all of this. Biggy big bam, done. Dig it. Jump in the chat, you guys. Guard your ears. Tell me about your Higgsfield projects, bro. All right, layout clips are on disk. Drop down behavior. Okay. What do you mean no layout clips recorded yet? It says no layout clips recorded, but we should have two. We should have the face and then the bottom left. We should have two. Got locked out for dude. Codex went crazy. Was it around the end of June? It was about 2 weeks before they released Sol, Terra, and Luna, and the usage just went bonkers. And I was working on a project on a Saturday, and I noticed it just all of a sudden was acting completely different in the way that it was building stuff. And I think that they connected my account to like a live preview of Sol without me knowing about it. But it literally became unusable for a couple weeks, where like 2 prompts and then my whole account would be fried out and I'd have to wait for 5 hours. So I have the basic Grok right now. I got mine. There was a deal that they had a few weeks ago where if you purchased it through x.com, so Twitter, if you purchased it through Twitter, you got a Grok subscription. It ended up being like $237 for a full year or something, but you got Grok, and then you also got your like Twitter Plus, so like the blue check mark on your Twitter account and all that stuff, and the ability to do articles and all that. So that was how I got it. I think that they have just recently released $100 a month option. I want to say that I just read that this week, that they, because before it was like either $20 a month or $300 a month, which is a massive jump. So I think that they introduced a $100 a month plan. All right, so I got to restart the freaking server again. again. Control C, npm run dev. Addy, you were here with me before. I remember you being on my live stream. I was having fun. You were actually interacting with me. These people are here today. No one wants to type anything. No one wants to jump in and have some fun together. All right, so refresh this, go to our graphics library. All right, we've got 2. Let's go. So now our numbered example card, we should render this as a full screen. No, not full screen talking. What? It mislabeled something. Yeah, this cleanup is going to take a lot of work. So if we go over to HyperFrames, HyperFrames should have showcase some examples of graphics. I have a feeling that they're going to turn this into something that's paid. Oh, this is a cool one. I like this. Okay, had the wrong mapping. Oh, we actually had 3. Wait, what? What the fuck are you talking about? All right, we're getting mixed up again. Full screen talking is rendered in before after grade. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to get into letting it try to like decide what's what. So we've got 2 that are in here, only 2 that are in here. Do I gather all data first and then build an app or site around that? So this is a matter of opinion, and it's one that software engineers have pretty strong opinions about one way or the other. It's kind of a dumb argument because at the end of the day, it's your personal preference and what works better for you. I myself like to just jump in and start building and solve the problems as they go, just kind of work in the flow. That allows me to just really be creative and really react to what I'm building in the moment. The problem is doing it that way. You end up with a lot of dead ends. You end up with a lot of stuff that you have to clean up later and refactor and squish down. So the way to think about this choice is kind of like take it away from coding. Let's say that you're in a college class and your professor asked you to write, a research paper. Some people just sit down, open a Word document, and start writing, and that'll get you there. But then now you've got to go back through and you have to edit. You're going to have to cut and paste paragraphs to move around. You're going to have a page that was probably stupid and shouldn't be in there. You're going to have missing information that needs to be rebrought in there. So you're just spending a lot more of your work on your back-end editing, refining process. And it's the same way with code. I happen to like working that way, so that's my preference. The other way that works, and I have friends that this is the way they work, and it's very, works very well for them, is that they spend all of their time up front planning out, and again, if we're talking about writing an essay, that's all your time, writing out what the outline is going to have and having all that planning done before they ever write a line of code. So it's really, I don't think one or the other is faster in total amount of time spent. I think if you at the end of the day, you have writing and you have planning, and it's just a question of whether you do planning at the beginning or cleaning at the end. So, do I want to see what you vibe coded? Sure, dude. I run a school community, and one of the things we do on Friday night is we have people come and show off their projects, and I will drop a link in here if you'd like to jump in there. We also have daily VIP calls where people come in and show off the stuff that we're working on. I love seeing what people have built. So yeah, I don't know how I would do it here in the stream, but yeah. Will the live stream be accessible afterwards? Yeah. So I have these saved on my YouTube channel. I'm just getting going on the live streaming, so I'm still not very good at it, but you got to start somewhere. Okay. Chasing the wrong choices. Sorry for the noise. That's done. Okay. Those are done. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and restart the server again. Need to have some sound effects to put into the stream. Yeah, Grok Build is awesome, dude. Grok Build is helping me unwind a giant bird's nest of crap that ChatGPT Codex made. Why is it not loading the graphics library, dude? Copy this. Paste those errors. Tell me what you've been vibe coding there, Jan. You can definitely come show it to us, but in the meantime, you can tell me about it. What you used, what you built, what the goal is. $400 was your fault. UTF-8, not BOM. That's some kind of stupid encoding error. That's just dumb time wasting stuff. There we go. Okay. Numbered example card. Now, talking bottom left, re-render the sample. Open up the sample. If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, you've definitely... That is not right. Cool. This first example, and this is pretty much the core use case for PowerPoint. Okay, that looks good. You have a bunch of data. The poster is still not being re-updated. Okay. Okay, so it is not, it should be redrawing this poster, which is basically like a sample image of what that looks like. And it doesn't seem that it's doing that. And then what I also noticed is when I click re-render sample, there's no progress bar that jumps up here to let me know that it's actually working. And where that's going to create problems is if I click that, okay, so it does disable it. So it does prevent me from clicking on it multiple times. But it's just bad UI. You know, if something's going on and we're going to expect it to take, you know, if it's not instant, there needs to be a progress bar or a spinner or something letting the user know that it's still working. Yeah, so it came back and it's done. I can see that it finished, but there still should be something happening while it's doing it. Grok Build and Codex. Grok work better, have a higher usage limit. Okay, so I use all the tools. Anti-gravity, Claude Code, ChatGPT Codex, Grok Build. I have subscriptions to all four of them. And you can't really say one is better than the other. They all have different pros and cons. And they just kind of have different personalities. Honestly, it's like dealing with different people. It's weird. Uh I'm using Grok right now because Grok tends to be the most like dealing with an engineer. It's the most like careful on like language and cut and dry. And Codex and Claude Code, especially Opus 5, like to be very deceptive. They just lie a lot. And so that's why I'm in this bird's nest situation is the soul model, the ChatGPT soul model is just like lied a bunch of times during the development of this, and we're just in a bad situation. So I decided to let Grok get into it to where I have something that I know like we're kind of like working together. I suggest trying all of the tools. I will tell you if you're using the free version of any of the tools, they suck. Like you have to have a paid subscription. But even if you have the base paid subscription to all four, it's $80 a month. Like it's really hard to think of a better way to spend $80 a month. Anybody that's crying about not being able to spend $20 a month for a ChatGPT plan is like what are you even doing, dude? You can't even get like a half a tank of gas for $20. Like it's like yeah, you definitely have to have a paid plan. Look, we got our first X viewer, dude. I'm like big time now. Never done vibe coding, but I started working with AI agents using Claude Code. Not related to what I do, but won't it be easy to set parameters and rules of what AI can and can't? Um, so agents are just a specific implementation of like writing code. And I don't know what it just did. It just imploded a bunch of stuff here. What is Grok? Okay. Agents are easier for people that are not technical to build, but they're also much more likely to get you in trouble building something that is fragile, breaks, and if you're using it for a real business purpose, like something that's going to cause an operating error that's going to end up resulting in you writing a check. And unfortunately, it's very hard to find good advice on agents. Most of the people that are on YouTube putting out content are just influencer bozos that have never actually designed software, or they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And if you listen to them, you are going to wreck your company. There are two really good ones, Nate and Nate, Nate Herc and Nate B. Jones. Both of those guys are incredibly bright. They put out really good content. You know, if you're going to listen to anyone, you know, obviously you can listen to me, but those two guys are fantastic in what they put out. Nate B. Jones is for sure a real software engineer. Nate Herc isn't a traditional software engineer, but he's put a lot of effort into learning to do it the right way. A very bright young kid, worked at Goldman, etc. So I like both of them. There's a lot of idiots out there, man. There's this one guy that I've come across that like literally is just some guy that run a bunch of multi-level marketing schemes, and he's out there talking about using Replit and connecting OpenClaw, which are both just really garbage tools, and uh you know, building this company. And if you look at the people he's hired, he hired someone that was, you know, the guy was a nurse, and then his other guy was like an actor. It's just like this organization of like scammers, and they're just gonna put out bad information about agents, and it's just, unfortunately, it's very hard to get good information about what they can do, the right way to design them. And so that's one of the things that I'm trying to do with my channel, is to put out the real information and help educate people, because these things are incredible, dude. Like, once you set them up, they're amazing. The stuff that's unlocked is incredible. But we've got to be learning, we've got to be doing it the right way, or else, you know, we're going to blow our company up. So that was a long tirade there. Hopefully that was helpful. I do have the school community. I put that, you know, in the chat. We have calls every Friday night that are open to everybody. And then I also, we just launched a VIP program where we're going to be having daily calls 5 days a week for our VIP members, that you guys can come in and ask any of these questions. I've got myself, I've got a lot of other actual real software engineers in there. And, you know, we're all about just like learning and getting better. So join that, and you can ask as many questions as you want, man. I'll teach you anything you want to know. Buzz. So Buzz is the Jack Dorsey thing, right? Fix 3 related problems. Progress while wondering. Give me just a second, you guys. Okay, so number card example has got the new poster. Okay, cool. So now let's try that again. Let's go ahead and re-render it with a full screen talking, which is the wrong one. Oh, that's a bug. Okay. Found another small bug. It's not rendered as a valid layout in the allowed layouts. Okay, so that's another tiny bug. So see, I've got over here, these are the allowed layouts. That's when this graphic should be able to be used. So on this one, I don't have full screen talking, so it shouldn't allow me to pick full screen talking as a choice. That shouldn't be allowed. Small bug, let's fix. Let's refresh. Lost the data on that. Bro, what are we doing? Okay, the first time it loads, it's not actually populating that. That's fine. Okay, so the only one I can get there. Okay, so now if I put full screen talking, okay, so render that. It is rendering a sample. Shows a percentage. I don't think that that's accurate. So I don't know much about Buzz. I know that, you know, Jack Dorsey released this thing. I have mixed feelings on Jack Dorsey. On the one hand, it's very clear that he's an incredible engineer. And if you look at what he's done with, you know, releasing Twitter, Stripe, a lot of people don't know, but Bootstrap, which was like the original Web 2.0 look, was a Twitter project that they open sourced. So his engineering skills are legendary. But he also allowed Twitter to become a platform that supported the censorship and the takeover of our rights as Americans before Elon Musk bought it. And so for that, I have a hard time ever forgiving him for that. That's our most basic right as Americans, is we have free speech. And Jack Dorsey was one of the people that took that away from us. So those are my mixed feelings. That one is strong enough that I don't think that I would use any of his tools because of it. He's never came out and said, you know what, my bad, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done that. So, you know, I have a hard time supporting the guy. I have the same feeling with Facebook, but I do feel like Zuckerberg has at least tried to atone a little bit for some of the stuff. They, you know, released a lot of that. So he gets a little bit more grace. And then Google too. You can see the Google people were involved in a lot of that stuff, but you can see with Sergey Brin moving out of California and some of that stuff, they're waking up a little bit, but nonetheless, I don't think that I would end up doing a lot with Buzz. I also, just as a general principle, I don't really believe these like agentic platforms like OpenClaw. I've dug through that source code extensively. Hermes, all of these things where you're just connecting an agent to your email and calendar and all these other things and just letting it run wild. I just don't think it's a good idea. They're not secure. You're opening everything you have up to prompt injection. And all right, let's do another bottom left one. I know just for myself, all the amount of time that I've worked in AI, it's not ready. Like you can't just connect it and let it run. Like you still very much have to monitor it. You're dealing with a very, very intelligent child when you deal with AI that will like continually lie to you and try to get around whatever rules that you put in place. And so until it's more trustworthy, until it's more controllable, the thought of just installing something on my computer and giving it access to my email, my calendar, and all these other things is just, there's just no way. All right, cool. That seems to be working. We are good here. So our sample re-rendering is good. So now one of the questions I have, so do you see how numbered example is not up? It's not falling in alphabetically, all the rest of them. So that makes me think that I have got something wrong with the sort. Although it might be sorting by status and then by name. Let's find out. That looks good. I noticed that, what is that one called? Oh yeah, so is it because we're sorting by status and the name, or is it because we have an index screwed up somewhere? So let's let Grok figure that one out. Have you actually used Buzz? I've been trying to help a friend run social media and small business, and AI make crappy images until you slap it around. I do like, so the AI image generation stuff, I really like that. Definitely most of the time you can tell that they are AI, but I'm not artistic, so I don't have the ability to create images. So it's given me an ability that I don't have otherwise. I do have the ability to write code and write processes though. So to like connect something to my email, I know how to do that the right way. So to just say like, oh, OpenClaw, you do what you want. Like, nah, dude, I'm good. I'm not doing that. I think if you were designing something like that, Ada, is it's kind of some of the problems that I'm running into with this video production is you have to be intentional about what part is code and what part is an agent that the AI touches. So a lot of these things like setting the values of what a graphic can do, what screen it should be used on, etc., that's all code. Like that's contractual. There's no arguing about it. But taking my transcript and figuring out so see, I've got this master beater which goes through and looks at the transcript and figures out
example 2 deals with
kind
what
of
I like to
content each section is based on the words. That is AI like helping decide it. But then again, this is still just a rough draft. Like I'm still gonna have to look through this and make sure that it got it right. Like AI is just not, there's not really anything that it can do now that you should just put out without looking at it first. Like literally every word that you put out, you can tell that it's written by AI. If you're copying and pasting AI stuff into your social media, people know. Then you sound like a bonehead. That's why no one goes on LinkedIn anymore. LinkedIn is just literally all copy and pasted AI crap. That's not this, it's this. That sentence, you guys know those sentences, right? It's not this, it's that. See, Grok just used one. It's the sort, not about index. Okay, that's fine. Okay, cool. So we will. I still don't think that it's loading all the data correctly the first time. Oh, it goes to source footage hold. Okay, let's upgrade that one to golden. Cool. Okay, cool. So Windows prompt typing. Cool. This first example, and this is pretty much the core use case. So this one is a use case for a prompt. This one should be talking left, or no, talking right, bottom left, bottom right, top left, and not screen only. So we'll re-render the sample just to clean that up. Daughter is a CPA. I don't know what CMA is, Certified Marketing Analyst. I used to have my CFA charter, and I actually worked on Wall Street in PE. I assume that that means private equity. Has the opportunity to move to IT, good or bad decision. So let me explain that because that's one I've dealt with for 30 years. My education is economics and finance. As I said, I have my CFA charter up until 2015. I quit paying them dues, so I can't call myself a CFA charter holder anymore. But yeah, I did have it. I passed all 3 tests first try. And then I also became an elite software engineer over time too. And you know, part of moving to San Francisco was I've tried many times to move into like a full IT role. I've had so many job offers from tech companies, but what always happened is it would be like 30% less pay than I made working at a financial company doing finance stuff. So I've always ended up staying in finance and just building, you know, software for financial roles. And even honestly, even within BlackRock, up until very recently, if you were an IT person at BlackRock, you would make less money than a quote finance person, like a portfolio manager or a trader. And so I just have always kept my foot on the finance side and built software as part of my role, as opposed to being a dedicated IT staff. The last 2 years of my career at BlackRock, I was actually a dedicated part of their IT, but that was because there's like this special group within Aladdin called PAG, the Portfolio Analytics Group, where you're truly half finance and half IT, and they actually get paid pretty well. So I was managing a team of those people last time I had a real job. I think for your daughter, the biggest advice is to just develop all of the skills so that you have the flexibility to go wherever you want and do whatever you want. You don't want to get yourself pigeonholed because things are changing too quickly and it's too easy to get obsolete, and then you're screwed. You got to always be learning. All right, so this one looks good. So we are going to go ahead and downgrade all of these away from being golden because they need to be gone through. So golden basically means that they are graphics that I have looked at, I've signed off on, I want to keep. I want our production process to be able to use. As you can see, I've just got a lot of crap in here because I let Codex create graphics over the course of like my last probably 12 videos. And so we've just got a lot of duplication, a lot of unnecessary stuff, a lot of things that just aren't very high quality. So part of this task is just cleaning up my library and then also building a more robust production process around it. So yeah. Yep. Shoot, where did my numbered example card go? This one should be golden because we signed off on that one. Trade-off meter and UI callout. Okay, so there. So we have 2 goldens. The rest of them still have to be looked at. Increase in pay 25% management IT, and they're funded by BlackRock. She's getting, well, but okay, but she's a CPA. So CPAs aren't actually considered like a finance role. So we also had accountants. A lot of times they're called like corporate finance people inside BlackRock, and they're not high paid. A CPA working for someone else doesn't tend to make as much money as a Wall Street trader, portfolio manager, et cetera, does. If you're a CPA and you have your own private practice and you're billing people for doing tax returns, you can make, lawyer type money. 25 years old. I think the biggest thing that you need to be doing at 25 years old is learning as much things as you can, and make sure that you're putting yourself in the most challenging roles possible. At that age, you should not be trying to have any kind of work-life balance or like non-stressful job. Like, you should really be throwing yourself into the deep end and really pushing yourself. Really, I think you should be doing that until your early 30s, until you have some kids. Mid-20s, man, you just go all in. All right. So now we are going to try changing up a thing. And I'm going to have to ask you guys to hold on for a second because I need to use the little boys' room. One moment. Ugh. All right. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, CPA is an interesting place because I feel like most of that role gets replaced by AI. CPA is one that it only exists because understanding all those accounting rules are complicated, and understanding what forms to use are complicated. But that complexity goes away once you have AI that can understand it. You could probably become a tax lawyer. All right, let's pick one. If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, you've definitely spent time working. Context. Okay, so something I see right away. So the beat types, I'm not super familiar with beats. That's a concept I've just been learning in the last couple of days. So I need some tool tips that tell me exactly what each one of those are so that I'm picking the right one. This one I know for sure should only be full screen talking. And speaker side panel right. So change the name. The usage ID I can't change. That's fine. Sample is fine. We will make that one golden. I don't want a full tooltip that's popping up all the time. What I'm going to do is get a little question mark right here that pops up a modal that I can remind myself what those are. So next to so I said I'm having a hard time remembering what all the beats are because I'm old. I want a question mark next to them that pops up a small modal that has a short description of each one and have them sorted alphabetically. Small AI firm, CPA, lives in Boise area. Helps small businesses if and when accounting goes awry. Yeah, small business, I think it's challenging to like deal with small businesses as your customer. Because my experience is that small businesses either don't have money or they're tightwads. I've dealt with that myself, having people ask me to do, consulting work for them building websites or whatever, right? And then like, they think that they're going to come at you with a budget for like $500. I'm like, okay, great. I'll work for, an hour and a half if you want. I don't know what you think I'm going to get done in an hour and a half, but that's the challenge, right? So being a CPA for small businesses, they're going to want to be able to have their taxes done for $1,200. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be able to do your taxes in 3 hours. So you almost kind of have to target the like medium to large size businesses to make it worth your time. I think that's true of any of the, lawyer, accountant, any of those like service things where you're targeting a business. Small businesses just, they don't have money and they're cheap. All right, so it did that. Okay, so cool. When to use each beat: aftershock, callback, list, prompt, proof. What is context? Background, definition, or stakes? Hook. Proof. Okay, cool. That's helpful. Okay, so then this speaker panel side right, that should just be used for adding context. So if I'm talking and I want to give you guys some extra information, or what I would, should proof be in there too? No, it should not be proof. We're just going to leave that one as context. All right, uprising, sunrise, finale. I don't like this one at all. This one's stupid. I want to get rid of that. Okay, I haven't done this one yet, so we're going down a new path to delete a graphic that I don't want. I don't think I want to have that something that can be done through the UI, because again, the graphic is technically three parts. There's an engine that builds it, there's a usage contract, which is what we're setting here, and then later on there's going to be a placement of that. And so I don't want the UI to be able to delete all those things, because those are more or less code changes. So I think I just want to work with AI through that. Recap of what I'm working on. Sure. So this is the video tool that I've been working on for several weeks. And it started out, one of my first YouTube videos when I came back was building this. So basically trying to build my own version of descript so that I can edit videos faster by just making changes to transcripts. I was spending like 2 hours putting all these stupid cuts in there to try to cut out the dead space and the bad takes and all that. And I just wanted to get that faster. So we started building this. I haven't really made another updated video about this yet. I will at some point to show what we've done, but this has come out. I can get the rough cut to like export it out, for just all the words. I can get that down in about 15 or 20 minutes now. So that's a massive improvement down from, 2.5 hours to like 15, 20 minutes. So that's been awesome. We also built some other tools on here that you can see in my other videos. The issue I'm dealing with now is trying to get my graphics process streamlined and working. That's still taking 4 or 5 hours to do per video, which is not scalable. It's taking over my life and it sucks. I have been trying for several weeks now with Codex and Claude, and it's just built this giant bird's nest of stuff that doesn't work well. And so the last couple of days has been taking all of the things that I've learned about it. Because again, I didn't really even know what adding graphics to a video really meant. I just was kind of following what some of the other YouTube people like, oh, you can make HyperFrames, make your videos look better. And it does, but it still comes out as AI slop. So we're trying to take it to like make it, something that's actually professional. So that's required me to go learn more about video production. I showed earlier, I was using Notebook LM to go research and figure out what, beats meant, what's the right language to talk about video production, because that's a concept that's new to me. And I've just been educating myself. And so now that I've, learned, not an expert, but I learned a reasonable amount, trying to take that back in and create an actual tool that's actual sustainable. So this is my tool for managing my graphics library. These are two things that I've been building that just aren't working. They'll go away. And then this is where we're going now, which is where we have the visual package, where AI can take my transcript. So after I've finished the transcript editing, it can take that transcript and go through. It uses this thing called Master Beater to analyze and figure out where the different beats are inside my video. And then based on
for our third example, we've had a
so it said this one is an example that should dictate which of the graphics it decides to put in at that place. But because I've let Codex create all these graphics, I've just got, a big mess of like, some are good, some are crap. And so I've just got to go through and clean it up to like get a set that I actually want to continue using. No UI delete. So that one was dropped. Okay, Uprising Sunrise Finale is gone. Okay, UI callout is an interesting one. This one is one that we definitely will use. How am you, my batty boy? Wait, did I just get hit on? Am I getting groupies hitting on me? I love it. Please tell me I'm getting groupies. I'd love to have some groupies. Wait, Ad, are you the one that was on here with your girlfriend a couple weeks ago? And I was like heckling your girlfriend. Is that you? I was heckling somebody's girlfriend. Somebody had the mistake of putting their girlfriend's name in the chat. And I'm part of Gen X, so I never miss an opportunity to be a punk. Okay, so I'm asking it about this. So this graphic, this is one I want to keep where it puts graphics over the top of what I'm working on so that you guys can see what to click when I'm doing tutorials. But later on, when the producer is telling it to draw these, it's going to need to be able to feed in the size of this box and where it should appear on screen. And I just don't know that we have like created into that piping there yet. So, because almost all of the rest of them are just these cards where we're just leaving it in the same spot and filling in words. So I'm asking Grok right now, have we done that? Okay. I've not backed myself into a corner. Good. UI call is already parameterized for position and size. Perfect. It does not hard code a fixed corner. It places a ring from target bounds and parks the label relative. Fine, whatever. So placement later, when we get into that, is supposed to own. Okay, the actual location, good. So placement agent's job is to know where it goes, what the boundaries are. We have not built the placement agent. I agree on that. The only real caution: do not bake episode specific bounds. What the hell's episode specific bounds? Don't know what that is. Okay, I don't know what that is. Yeah, don't give me your daughter's name. She's 25, dude. You already told me she's legal. I'm a middle-aged divorced man. 25 is a perfect age for me. Episode specific boundary means the exact on-screen rectangle for this one video's moment, not a permanent setting. Okay, I don't understand what the heck you're talking about. You might be my age or younger. Creepy to say, it's fine. You know, it's funny. Creepy's funny. I don't care. Also, I don't really find anything creepy about a 25-year-old dating a 50-year-old. It's a matter of personal choice between those two people. That is their right to do what they want and live their life the way that they want to live it. It's not our place to judge that. You gotta stay in your own lane and worry about yourself. And hey, if it works for Leonardo DiCaprio, it can work for me too, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think I'm happy with the UI call out. That one's golden. That's one we're going to use all of the time. And it should be on UI only is the only beat that it should be used on. Not full screen talking. Not talking left or talking right, because those are usually when I'm... So basically talking bottom right, talking... These ones are when I would be showing my screen, so that is where I want it. And we are going to put that golden. So that one is ready. Trade-off meter is pretty cool. I like this one. Am I making money? I don't know. Why are you worried about my money, bro? I think my YouTube stream is set up to take gifts. You can give me a gift and then I can say I made money today. That'd be nice. I wouldn't complain about that. Trade-off meter. Okay, so that is not... I feel like we're missing some of these. Proof. It's not a proof. It's because I'm giving it... It's not a setup, punchline, or aftershock. Those are jokes. Trade-off. Structure. Got it. We are putting it in structure. It can be full screen talking, not talking left or talking right. Talking bottom left or bottom right, or talking top right, or computer screen only. I agree with that. And we will keep that as golden. Can't gift to someone who is aligned with the value, whatever. Like, get off my stream, dude. Honestly, go somewhere else. How do I ban this person? Go away. When you go to Vegas, 70-year-old man with late 20s. Absolutely, dude. There's a lot of parts of the world where people enjoy that arrangement. I appreciate that we have someone in the stream that seems to think that they know more than everyone else in the world and that they get to dictate how everyone else in the world lives. I would imagine that I probably know what political party you're part of based on that worldview, that you think you get to decide how everyone else in the world lives. All right, 3-step celebration. I'm going to save that one because that one's similar to a lot of stuff that I've got. Speakerized callouts. I don't love this one. If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, you've definitely... Let's ask about this one. Let's find out about this one. All right, how do I block this person? Block user on YouTube. Goodbye. And that is how we get blocked. If it didn't dictate how you live, you'd be saying things. I'd say whatever the hell I want. This is America. I can literally say whatever the fuck I want because I have free speech. Now, I make a choice on whether I want to say inappropriate things or not, but I have the right as an American to say whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want to say it. And no one can take that away from us. Part of the problem the last 10 years is we've let people decide that they think they can take that away from us. And as part of Gen X, as a punk, fuck you, you don't get to decide what I say. Is that clear? They're not still here. I blocked them. But for anyone else that has any questions on that, we have the right to free speech. It is inalienable. It is one of the most important things that our founders got right, is we can say whatever we want. And when we lose the ability to say what we want, that is when tyranny takes over, and they do things like getting us involved in Iraq wars, or they get us running around with diapers on our face, and all the other things. When one side or the other gets too much power and takes our right away to speak, we can say whatever we want. And if you have a problem with that, fuck off. Yeah, dude, keep your mouth shut. What others think and others say. There's, are you familiar with Adlerian psychology at all? Adler? Do you know about Adler? List of callouts, optional accent. So max 4 callouts, that's fine. Yeah, do you know anything about Adler? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Let me finish this prompt and then we'll do a sidebar on Adler. All right, so this graphic we're working on, so it basically pops up 4 words as I'm talking, and so I was asking about that, but it's mixing 2 fonts, so everything is supposed to be a Montserrat font, and I can tell that it's mixing 2, so we got to fix that. And then also, I want these words to be bigger. There's no reason to use tiny font like that. And then I want them to be closer to my head when they come in. And then the last thing that I noticed is when I play one of these pre-rendered samples,
If you have one of those
it
soul
just
crushing,
shows, it shows the entire graphic. And if I was actually using it, these will be popping in over time. So I want to have our graphics re-render with like a time delay. So I'm asking Grok for that. I said, I'm good with this. I want to change the visual aesthetic a little bit. I want to make sure we're using the correct font family. And the 4 extra words that add emphasis should be larger font. I don't know what they are now, but they're too small. I would also like them to render closer to me. They're all way on the outside of the frame now. Finally, when we render a sample of something like this that has a timed reveal in it, can we just build a 1-second delay into rendering? each next item so I can see the animation. Okay, cool. So we'll let Grok work on that. Okay, so Adler is a psychologist who would be, you know, comparable to Freud, right? It's like a big branch of psychology. But his whole thing is basically like, you just need to worry about yourself. And a lot of the pain that we experience in life is because we're worried about other people and what their tasks are and what they've got to worry about. It leads to us trying to control other people because we think that their problems are our problems. And if you learn to just turn inward and only focus on your problem and your life, that you'll just be a lot more fulfilled and a lot happier. And I think it's a really good way to think, a really good framework, Adlerian psychology. Let me look at my Audible library. There was a book, 2 books actually, that I listened to about this a few years ago that were really good. That I highly recommend. There we go. Yeah, there's 2 books. I want to give the exact one. I know the title. I will find it on Amazon and I will pop the link in here for you. Here it is, The Courage to Be Disliked. This is a really good book. I listened to it on Audible. It's one that is actually a philosophy thing, but it was written kind of as a parable. So it's like a, you know, it's going through the concepts of Adlerian psychology, but in the like a parable of like a mentor talking to a student kind of thing. It's really interesting, really cool way to explain something complicated like that. So there's that book, and then there was a follow-up book to it too. And I think the original was written by Japanese people, and I think it was translated into English. So there's The Courage to Be Disliked, which is the first one, and then The Courage to Be Happy, which is the follow-up. But yeah, they're really good. It's just really good concepts, really interesting, you know, thinking about, you know, like why do I put so much energy worried about what other people are doing? You know, like that person, I can't control that person. You know, if they want to go around the world like hassling people and trying to clamp down on their, you know, they can't really do anything. Now, if you get into it where you're trying to impact me, yeah, absolutely, I can react to it. But you know, I don't need to chase that person around. I don't need to dox them. I don't need to, you know, if they want to run around putting toxicity in the world, that's their problem. I just worry about myself until somebody comes in and sets me off, at which point I will drop some F-bombs and kick you out of my stream. Because America. That's what we do. You think my World War II grandpa would have taken that guff from that guy? Hell no. Heck no. All right. So it changed it. Fix the sample reveals. So we are going to re-render a sample, and this one should only be full screen talking. It should be context. And I think that that's it. I think that's the only one I want. So let's do a sample. We'll render that and see how this one looks. Yeah, I think, you know, honestly, Ada, I think that some of that comes with age too, you know, because like when you're younger, you're just ready to go conquer the world. And then I think as you get older, you just start realizing more and more how little control you have, and, you know, how much energy you spend on things that you can't do anything about. And I think that that's just part of maturing, is just realizing like, dude, why am I, you know, why am I spending time worrying about this thing? I can't do anything about it.
If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, you've definitely...
The render didn't work right. Okay. Instead, I need to restart the API. So let's try that. I am skeptical that that's the problem, but we will see. Yeah, I think that we're conditioned to want to chase power. You know, I mean, I've been guilty of it myself. We're, you know, we're just conditioned in our society that that's what's important in life. All right, speakerized callouts.
If you have one of those soul crushing,
yeah. So okay, so don't want Claude open. So just giving some instructions. So we have this top bar, but then I want, you know, up to 6 more things to be able to pop in, just kind of like a little word storm. Yeah, I think everything in our society is set up to make us care about titles. You know, even in the military, right? It's like, are you a private or a corporal or a general, whatever? And then all the way back in our history, are you like a serf? Are you a lord or a duke or the king? Like all these like arbitrary stupid things. And then the corporate version of it is, are you a vice president? Are you a director? Are you a managing director? And I myself was guilty of that for a long time. When I was working in finance, just obsessed with when I would make it to managing director. And then a lot of, you know, accounting, you're trying to make it to partner, lawyer, you're trying to make, and you just do a lot of really stupid things in pursuit of these titles. And I know when I left my career and kind of retired 12 years ago, I just, looking back, I was like, God, what have I been doing for the last 20 years? Like, what a stupid thing to worry about. Who cares what title? Yeah, see, you never had to care about power though, because you've been in charge of yourself. So I think power comes when you're being held down by someone else. You want to get that power so that you're no longer controlled by somebody. I think once you take dominion over your own life and have your own control of your own destiny, I think most people quit caring as much about power. Or I think the good ones are. There's still a lot of scumbags that run companies, politicians that only care about power, but I don't know. I don't really care about that, dude. I just want to build cool stuff and meet cool people. So you own cell phone stores? Like like Saul Goodman on Better Call Saul, selling those burner phones. Is your daughter your only kid? Do you have more kids on the way? Do you get grandkids yet? Or are you still waiting on that life event to become a grandfather. Okay, so the sequential animation is supposedly fixed. And 6 words, okay. It says I need to restart the server, fine. T-Mobile, nice. Sprint. Man, I had Sprint forever until they became Verizon. I had Sprint before I had a cell phone, back when you would buy the long distance cards. I would buy the Sprint phone cards. That's how old I am. T-Mobile. T-Mobile's still around though, right? I feel like their name's still there. Oh, are you in California? If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, you've definitely spent time working in PowerPoint. And even if you're lucky enough to have it... That's a good graphic, you guys. 1 daughter and an 8-year-old granddaughter. That's cool. 8 years old's a fun age, man. They're super cool to hang around with, and they haven't got the sass mouth of a teenager yet, but they're not like a little toddler that can't do anything. Yeah, like, yeah. That's a good age, man. Kids are super cool around that age. Open to learning lots of cool things from grandpa and go to the museum and go play mini golf, all kinds of cool stuff. I have teenagers now. They don't want to hang out with me. All right, I like this one. So full screen rendering, context. We are putting that one golden. I like that one. Source punch zoom. Cool. This first example, and this is pretty much the core use case for PowerPoint. Okay, so that one is hook. That one should only be full screen talking. Do I want it anywhere other than in the hook? I think I only want it in the hook. Yeah, I think I only want a hook. I got to redo a sample on that one. Move from Chico to Boise. Yeah, dude, Chico's far from the Bay Area. I wouldn't want to be opening stores in the Bay if I lived in Chico either. What is that? That's like a 3-hour drive or something, isn't it? 3 or 4 at least. I only got to hang out at Chico once. I was there for about a week, doing maybe 2 weeks. I think it was about a week doing a training for a. I got my California state insurance license many years ago, and the training, it was like a 3 or 4 day in-person training. It was in Chico. It was fun. Chico was cool. Cool little downtown. If you have one of those soul-crushing corporate jobs, you've definitely spent a very fun place to go to college for sure. All right, so now I want to ask about this source punch zoom. How's Boise? I know a lot of people from California moved to Boise. I'm trying to think where I'm going to go because I got 3 more years until my youngest is out of high school, and there is no way I'm staying in California. There's no separate zoom outs. Okay, let's go ahead and make 2 more. So here we go. Now is our first time making a new graphic. All right, so I said so right now I only have the one that zooms in. I also want one that zooms out, and then I want another one in there that goes in and then out. And this is the first time in my new process where I'm adding a new graphic to this library. And I've always just let Codex build stuff, and I just don't really know how this process works enough. So I've asked Grok to look at how it was worked in the past, and we're going to discuss what actually happens and come up with a contract of how this gets handled, you know, when I need to add new graphics to this. Yeah, Idaho's a trip, man. They got those open carry laws. I was up there snowboarding a long time ago before kids, and I remember going to Walmart and like seeing some dude with a holster and just being like, "What?" I was like tripped out by that. Even growing up in the Midwest, I had never seen anyone like open carrying like that. It was wild. Definitely immediately makes you uncomfortable the first time you see it. Um, but yeah, man, Idaho's got some amazing scenery. Like Coeur d'Alene is just absolutely beautiful. And then we went to Idaho Falls, where there's like this waterfall up there that turns on and off like every 10 minutes or something like that. It starts and then it stops 10 minutes later. That was like a trip. And then driving down from there down through to like Salt Lake City, where you go through all those lava fields and you feel like you're on like a totally different planet. Very cool. It's a place I haven't got to spend as much time in Idaho as I would like. I want to go there and see more of the national parks and stuff. We did go to the Potato Museum in Idaho. That was fun. Highly recommend that, Idaho Potato Museum. All right, so Grok is saying what? It's a lot of words here, Grokster. Good topic to align on before. Okay, so source punch zoom is already zoom in, hold, zoom back out. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so first, okay. Okay, so allegedly this one we have is supposed to zoom in and then zoom back out. I didn't see that, so that's a bug. What these engines are, they're not HyperFrames recipes. So this is the main how Codex did it confusion. Yeah. Yep. So how an engine gets into the graphics library. Define the engine code and contract. The schema, draw it, and a sample demo in the tests. Ensure engine usages, create a candidate. Optional later hooks. Yeah, this is where I start to get confused with what HyperFrames is actually doing. One, I didn't know source punch zoom was supposed to go back out. Naming. I'm not sure about the naming. And then for scope of first add, only pull out plus sample polish on punch zoom. I don't understand this question. All right, 2,500 square foot home, 450 to 550. Man, that would be amazing. I don't really plan on having a home for a while once they go to college. I want to be fashionably homeless and just be a nomad for a while. And bounce around from place to place. Maybe live in a van. I don't know. There's just a lot of the world that I haven't been able to get a chance to see yet. I've seen a lot, been to a lot of countries, been to most of the states, but there's still so much that I want to see. And I just want to go see everything. I think I'm going to go for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm probably going to be done with this stream for a while. I need to go take a break. I've been locked in for a couple hours. Eyes are starting to get crooked. And I need to take some time to understand how HyperFrames and GSAP all work together in this. I'm still not exactly clear. I know that HyperFrames is doing some of this, but I'm just having a hard time understanding what it does and what it doesn't do. So, okay, so the engine does do pull out. That's good. Oh, okay. Okay, so it fixed the sample. Product shape that I want. I don't think that these need to be separate, actually. I think... don't think that they actually need to be separate. I think that that's dumb. I'm going to redesign that. Yeah, dude, jump in our school community. We've got, we've been having calls every Friday night, but starting this week, we're going to be doing the VIP calls every day. And just so people can jump on Zoom together, we all talk with each other, show each other projects, teach each other. It's a lot of fun. I appreciate you being with me here again, man. I like having you on the stream. I like having somebody that actually chats back and forth with me. Makes things more entertaining. Hopefully you learned some stuff. Hopefully it was useful. Should definitely check out that Adler book. So HyperFrames versus GSAP versus R code. So our app and engines chooses the graphic, fills the parameters, visual production. So the engine is R code, yes. GSAP is an animation library, correct. HyperFrames. Okay. Yeah, I think HyperFrames gets confusing because it's got a bunch of stuff munged together. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream here because I need to take some time to really think through this this HyperFrames engineering, and I know that it's going to be boring for you guys to be watching me read and be quiet. So I appreciate all you guys being here. Please do me a favor and do a like and subscribe, and definitely come back. We'll be doing more of these for sure.